G'day mates, Salty Pete here. Today Marvel revealed that we'd be getting 20 Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite variant covers in August for 20 of Marvel's comics. So a lot of people are making the safe assumption that the characters getting a comic are probably going to be in the game. This isn't their whole line, obviously, so, I also agree it's probably going to happen. It'd be pretty weird if they were teasing a character that wasn't going to be in the game, after all. So, figured I'd just quickly go through the list for people who don't pay that much attention to comics. You might be more interested in the Capcom side. You might only be interested in a few Marvel characters, or maybe you just haven't read comics in a fair while. So, let's go. So we'll start off with the obvious ones. The solo comics are probably hinting at the main character of that comic. So we've got Peter Parker Spider-Man here for Amazing Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Hawkeye's already been revealed, Groot's already been revealed as at least part of a Rocket Super, which makes me feel like he's probably not going to be playable on his own. He could be. It'd be kind of weird. I can't think off the top of my head of an instance of a character appearing in another character's super and also being playable on their own. So, it would be pretty unique, but I think this one's probably just hinting at Rocket. Tony isn't currently Iron Man, but like an AI clone of him appears in the comics, so this is probably just going to be Tony. Jane Foster is the current Mighty Thor, so this could either be revealing her as an alt costume, or just Thor in general. Rocket's already been revealed. This Spider-Man, is the one without Amazing in front of it, is Miles. Now, Miles could either be just a souped-up alt costume for Spider-Man with, unique voice acting and such, or he could be a playable character on his own, because he does have different powers from Peter Parker. Slightly different powers. So they could give him a different moveset. If I remember right, Niitsuma recently said that he was considered for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but didn't make it in due to time constraints. So it'll be pretty interesting to see whether it's alt costume or new character. This one, Spider-Man and Deadpool, I really want to be a Deadpool reveal, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a Spider-Man reveal. If Deadpool was going to be getting in, surely his solo comic would be getting an alt cover, but it's not. So, want it to be Deadpool, not going to be surprised if it isn't. Captain Marvel's already been revealed, and these last two solo covers, Thanos and Venom, I think are a pretty big reveal for people in general. I think no one's going to be, too surprised that Thanos and Venom are two highly requested characters. One of them is a huge deal in the MCU pretty soon. So, big reveal, personally. I'm really excited for Thanos. Venom, I'm not a huge fan of the Venom comic at the moment, but I've always been a fan of Venom's moveset in Marvel vs. Capcom, so I'm really excited to see him. I hope they pretty much just port his old moveset and give him a few new tools, because I really like the animation and, the body swapping and the tentacles and everything. Venom Fang is just a cool-looking move. Venom Web is a really cool-looking super, so I'd like that. Thanos, I think, needs a few revamps from his MvC2 moveset, which would probably mostly just be giving him his Marvel Superheroes moveset back with the rocks and the Reppuken projectile. I'd like to see him get a few more touches, maybe make the bubble not a bubble anymore. I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for that, but I'd like it to see more tech-looking, so maybe make it just a dodecahedron with, like, that kind of, like, hologram reflective look. Doesn't matter. I'm sure Capcom will do something interesting there. Now, the team-ups. We have the Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty much just the movie lineup right now. Even the founding Guardians that haven't appeared in the movie, they're not in this. So, it's probably just hinting at Star-Lord and Rocket and Groot. Avengers could be hinting at pretty much anyone. There's been so many characters that have been Avengers. There's so many characters that are currently part of the Avengers. This could just be hinting at Ultron, even. Well, not hinting, but showing Ultron on the cover. The Champions currently don't have anyone revealed for the game, so I thought this was an interesting one. My first thought reading down this list when seeing it, because it's in alphabetical order, was that it was going to be Ms. Marvel. But Ms. Marvel's solo comic isn't getting a cover. Miles, however, is getting a cover for his solo comic, so I think that makes him a bit more likely for this one than Ms. Marvel. I'd still really like it to be Ms. Marvel, and the reason I'm not going to rule her out due to not having a solo comic getting a cover is the Defenders. None of the Defenders are getting a solo comic cover. This could be because it's all of them getting shown on it. The current Defenders are Iron Fist, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, just like the Netflix series. So, that I'm not going to rule out any of them. I think Jessica Jones is the least likely, because I don't know if there's that much differently she'd do from She-Hulk. And knowing Capcom and how lazy they are, I think they'd rather just bring back She-Hulk than make a new character that's similar to She-Hulk, but not She-Hulk. Iron Fist, of course, returning character, very obvious. They'd probably just need to give him a few moves to like shore up his weaknesses at super jump height. And Daredevil and Luke Cage have both been highly requested, and Luke Cage almost got into Ultimate, so wouldn't be surprised if it was all of them getting shown on that. This one's probably just going to be Banner Hulk. I don't think we'll be getting Cho Hulk, because even as an Hulk costume, because I don't think he looks different enough, to be honest, in Hulk form. We would get some cool voice acting, since he doesn't really turn monstrous in Hulk form, but don't expect it. This one is interesting because we're getting 2 Thor covers. That could mean we're getting Jane as an Hulk costume, or one of these could be hinting at Loki. There's a few different reasons. Or maybe it's just 2 different artists' take on a Thor cover, like how we're getting Spider-Man and Deadpool and Spider-Man. You know, I'm not going to be surprised at all if Loki is in the game. I think he's pretty obvious, so... And lastly, I think this Secret Empire is going to be focused on Cap and Black Widow and Miles. So that means Miles is potentially on 3 different covers here. Definitely on one of them, at least. I really don't think he won't be on his solo comic at all. I mean, his solo comic cover could be hinting at, you know, a Spider-Man villain or something, but I really think it's going to be him on it. So I think that really ups Miles' chances of being in the game. Cap, obviously, has also already been revealed, and Black Widow, I think, is a guarantee, because Capcom's going to be looking at as many females as they can get into the game, because it's a bit ridiculous if, you know, you just went with all the current MCU characters that have a solo movie, and you'd have so few females in the game. So, Black Widow, I think, is pretty certain. So, that's the list. Mostly obvious picks, I think. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised that Black Panther or Doctor Strange, and certainly not Spider-Man. But Thanos and Venom, I think, is a cool reveal. Unfortunately, we can only make speculation on the team covers. And that's what makes me feel that all the people who are going to look at this list and think, oh, well, there's no X-Men, there's no Jean Grey, there's no... I think Iceman has a solo comic at the moment. None of those are getting a cover. And I think a lot of people are going to look at that and say, well, that means they probably won't be in the game. But I don't think this is going to be the definitive list. I think this is pretty well picked to be obvious characters that people are going to look at and go, well, it's obvious Doctor Strange is in the game. And then 2 cool ones to get you thinking, oh, Thanos and Venom are going to be in the game. And then get you speculating on the teams. So, I'm not going to hold my breath for X-Men. You know, I think the Fox situation makes it pretty unlikely, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see Wolverine or Magneto get in. It's the same thing with the Fantastic Four. At this point, if you're a huge Fantastic Four fan, you're probably used to getting screwed over by Capcom in the Versus series. So you're probably not surprised that Reed or Susan aren't getting a cover, but you also wouldn't be surprised because they're currently not in the main Marvel universe. They're off exploring the multiverse, so it was actually impossible for them to get a comic cover. Revealing a comic cover here for them would actually be a huge deal because it would reveal that they'd be getting a comic. So the only Fantastic Four related character that could be getting a cover would be Doctor Doom. And I can't remember if Infamous Iron Man's actually still going to be running in August. I probably should have looked that up before I started making this video. But, again, I don't think that hints against him. The other main reason I don't think it hints against any of those characters, I mean, obviously it doesn't help their chances, but none of the Inhumans are getting a cover here, except for potentially Ms. Marvel in Champions. I mean, they could have definitely done Secret Warriors with Quake on the cover. They could have done Black Bolt on his solo comic on the cover. They could have done a few other different comics, with potentially revealing Medusa on one of them. I think most people are pretty certain that at least one of the Inhumans is going to be in. I'd personally like it to be Quake, because I didn't like her character that much, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has really made me, you know, endeared to that character, so I'd like to see her in. And after how much Marvel has tried to focus on the Inhumans over the mutants recently, I think it's pretty likely that at least one of them will get in. Partially due to the Fox situation. So, that's the list. That's my speculation based on it. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been using the Newsarama article for this list, as you can see there, if you want to go check it out, personally. There's not much else to the article, it's just, you know, a little bit here. It's mostly a press release from Marvel, so pretty much any website you go look it up on is going to be the same. So, if you've got some speculation of your own, based on the covers revealed here, please just mention in the comments. I'm keen to hear what you have to say. And thank you very much for watching.